table, I was guarding it carefully, and there it probably sits. Do you see it? Grab it and bring it back this way. While we're waiting, I want to make an observation while we get the mic here. Jennifer was the first person today to mention the C word, competencies. The mayor, Mike, you talked about quick, nimble, flexible curriculum on that. You talked about being too bureaucratic, doctor. And competencies, in that, rooted in competencies, is the ability to chunk curriculum, is the ability to stay aligned. Anybody want to expand on that just for a moment before I let this gentleman get us started?
Well, in regards to chunking curriculum, and I think Byron mentioned that at the last panel, it's looking at the skill set. Again, it's maybe a degree isn't for everyone, but it's looking at helping them along the pathway, chunking the curriculum so that they can gain a certificate, knowing that they're going to get that job. They're prepared for that job after that certificate. Then chunking a little bit more and preparing them to sit for a state exam so they can get a license. And then maybe putting more together, it's part of the career pathway, putting more together so that they can possibly gain an associate's degree, then moving on to a bachelor's degree. But all along, from the very onset, talking to them about the career pathway, that they're preparing themselves along the way. And again, I think we mentioned the entrance points. Where are they coming into the system, and at what point can they leave with the skill set to get a job? So it's each of those elements along the way.
And they call that stackable credentials.
Stacking, yes.
But not to mention the U of P word again, doctor. But you said they're eating our lunch. Let me just give you an example. But benchmarking is worth hearing, so don't get, right? In the manufacturing sector, Mike may know NAM, every member of NAM now has a tuition credit, a discount with University of Phoenix. University of Phoenix has aligned to every one of NAM's private sector credentials, which aligns to their competency model. So when you get each credential, you earn tuition, you earn credit at University of Phoenix. Your employer, if they choose to send you back to University of Phoenix, gets a tuition reimbursement credit, in other words, a lower cost tuition on their tuition reimbursement program. And major employers that have curriculum for advanced skills that can be articulated to the competency model will be reviewed by University of Phoenix for college credit as well. Now, when you start putting that kind of offering together, you can understand why they're having a market impact, right? So whether that's the right answer for us or not, we want to hear about those kinds of things, and it should be part of our dialogue. Question was over here.
All right. I think this is the third time I'm talking, but my name is Alex Cirillo. I'm the treasurer of Student Senate at Harper.
You're a student?
Yeah.
Good for you. Talk all you want, buddy.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right. I have a couple things that I jotted down. In my opinion, it's massively important to remember the students who are already motivated and to embrace their ambitions with challenging opportunities. And what I've been learning in Mr. Vijuk's, if anyone knows who that is, his management class is that it is most profitable in business to have few skilled workers instead of dozens of unskilled workers. What's it called? With what Mr. Nelson said, and it was great to actually meet you first. I didn't know you were the mayor of Rolling Meadows. That's kind of cool.
He thinks so too, I can tell you right now.
That's probably why he does it.
We talked at lunch.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. All right. But with technology, this is kind of astounding, and it's kind of a drastic opposite. But a 4-year-old, when I was in 8th grade, there's a site called neopets.com. A lot of kids use it. There's the opportunity to build stock and a shop. A 4-year-old made a $300 million investment income. This is also similar to Mafia Wars on Facebook, if anyone's ever heard of that. My 52-year-old dad plays that. But also, as my dad also knows, as a legal videographer, technology is almost obsolete every 6 months.
Right.
So my last little thing is, I would say it's a metaphor. How do we utilize the most water in this situation? In a field, in a rainstorm, where there's a glass of water, do we utilize the glass of water, or do we let the water seep into the ground, let plants grow, let animals eat it, and do we kill the animals and feed the community? And that's the metaphor is we have to think of what the absolute biggest picture is while at the same time looking at the small points too.
Get it. Good job. That's an A. All right. Other questions for this panel? Yes, right there. Go ahead. Well, we got you now.
Hi, I'm Catherine Powell, and I'm in the Adult Educational Development Department at Harper, working out in Rolling Meadows, actually. And my question is sort of for everybody, because I've been thinking, I keep hearing, that we, in this climate of the lost decade and shrinking resources and Illinois not investing, and so on and so on, how do we get psyched up about taking the risks, making the new terrain?
Right.
In this climate, everyone is kind of contracting. Everyone's kind of going in their cave, at least emotionally, I think. So it's hard to think about, why am I going to put myself out there? I might, my area might not survive this, or et cetera, et cetera. And especially, what I want to say is, how can we trust this whole process? Right. That's what I'm saying. I want to see it. I think how do I know I should go out on that limb? Should a business, sure, we'll let you shadow our people. Sure, we'll give you these resources or whatever. Or why should I, dump my curriculum and do something new unless I'm assured that I'm still going to have a job? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of, it's trust. So I guess I'm searching for that. And especially, I do work with those marginalized low-income people who aren't making those great grades, who are getting stuck in those developmental classes. And yet, they're not big, how shall we say, winners, accredited degree-getting kind of people. So they don't make the college look good. But if they're our future, because you were saying if we have those 3 basketball players, those are our, normal traditional students who go through and have had everything that I've had as a white, literate, well-educated, home-owning person. So how do we, there's so many problems, but I guess I'm saying is, how do we make the leap?
How do we have enough faith to make the leap? How do we tackle these hard problems? Anybody want to challenge that? Come back, doctor. Come on.
Yeah, let me say something. A wise man today showed a slide and call for action. Don't be afraid to fail, act, demand more, try something new, take a risk, stretch, get involved, dream.
I saw an incident at one of our elementary schools where some first grade teachers teaching English as a second language classes or teaching classes in Spanish developed a CD to help these kids learn, because they're technology oriented as well, even if they're not from our background and not from our what we think of as the fast track. They know how to reuse computers and that sort of thing. So they created the CD, and I was watching this youngster learn from this CD. And about an hour later, and I think you work over at the PNRC, about an hour later I was over at the PNRC, and there was the same child teaching her uncle using the CD that this teacher had created as a tool for teaching first graders. And if that doesn't make you optimistic, then I don't know what will. Conversely, I own a business as well, and I see so many of my customers come in very discouraged, and I think that's one of the things that is slowing the recovery, if you will, in our economic situation, is the uncertainty of the future. I think, and I don't disagree with you, but as one of the slides that I think you had up there, leaders lead by teaching hope, or with the word hope was on that slide.
Right.
And as